wherever you are and however you are. Here we are. I'm feeling a little bleary this morning. That's sometimes, the effect of full moon night, not sleeping so much or so well. But c'est la vie. I wonder how you slept. If you slept well, I'm very happy for you. If you slept poorly, well, it's like that. All right. So just noticing you checking in. Who did I see? Somebody was in Wyndham, which is a little town in Norfolk where my mother-in-law lives. Philip. Yes, hello Philip. You're in Wyndham. Good. All right, and wherever everyone else is, equally. Nice to see you. Yeah. Anna also slept poorly, it looks like, with the moon influence. All right. So, friends, little time for a few reflections, some meditation, chance for questions. If any of you are here for the first time, then please feel especially welcome. Sometimes I think, if someone's just showing up for the first time, well, are you very familiar with meditation? Maybe you're wondering a little what to expect. Well, one, you can see that, he's very friendly here. Like you can just see on the comments side, down the side of the screen. There's a lot of people that are here very regularly since a long time. And that sense of a kind of warm, supportive sense of community. So please feel very welcome. And if you're here for the first time, maybe mention that in the chat. So people can be equally welcoming to you. There's a kind of theme this week, which is complexities and contradictions. And just taking the ways in which sometimes ideas about Dharma practice can be contradictory, the way our life or practice can unform, the things we're in touch with can seem contradictory. And in a way, our practice consists not so much of resolving contradictions, but rather of sort of expanding our view, as it were, to include them. It's a sign of a healthy mind, right? One that can absorb and include and not be destabilized by contradictions. So yesterday we looked a little bit at that contradiction between meditation seeming like something to do with your mind, mindfulness, and the fact that actually we're doing something that's very visceral, very bodily. And today I thought we might just look briefly, and then I would speak less in the meditation today, I think, compared to yesterday. But that contradiction between the fact that on the one hand we're always evoking these beautiful qualities, right? And we say, let's sit here, presence, steadiness, openness, clarity, ease, focus, etc. And on the other hand, what we're very frequently confronted by is agitation, dullness, distraction, worry, noise, right? So there's a contradiction. We hear about meditation in terms of beautiful, liberating qualities, and those totally can show up in meditation, right? And absolutely inevitably, in the course of a certain steadiness and commitment to practice and a certain familiarity and regularity, we get real tastes of those beautiful qualities. But still, even as we enter into and become very much at home with some of those beautiful qualities, still, mind is what it is. Mind produces thoughts as absolutely naturally as birds produce bird song, and as as it's just the nature of mind is to think. So we're invited on the one hand to adopt an attitude of those qualities, right? To adopt an attitude of, let me be steady and actually feel body sitting here. Let me be open, right? And allow experience to just have its natural life. Let me be clear about what's happening, whatever that is. Let me be relaxed, so as to not fuss with experience. So we can evoke those beautiful qualities very much in our attitude, while also being unperturbed by the fact that what shows up often seems to be the opposite of those qualities. I want to be open and steady and loving and grounded and spacious. And actually, I start thinking about this thing that happened yesterday, and I find myself being petty and narrow and contracted and obsessive. Right? So what's that? Is that the failure of our practice because those opposite qualities have shown up? Or is it rather an opportunity to bring these beautiful qualities, spacious, relaxed, open, to the material that we find? That's such a shift. And you just consider your own practice for a moment. Early on, we're trying to change the dodgy material, right? We're trying to change the pettiness and the narrowness and the obsessiveness and the distractedness and the worriedness, right, into, love and light, for want of a better term. We're trying to make everything spacious and calm and peaceful and open, and you'll get frustrated in various ways by that. Or, sometimes people turn into this sort of spiritual facsimile where they keep talking about love and light, and it's all very like sweet and nice, but there's something fake about it. Right? So at some point we get disillusioned, and then that's also the time some people just give up at that point. It's like, I'm not managing to turn my shit into gold. right? So I give up. Or this is where maybe the real magic happens, actually. At some point we stop trying to turn our shit into gold, and rather we bring the gold. I'm not sure how long I can keep this image going, but we bring the gold of a wise attitude, a gentle attitude, an open attitude, right, to the fact that we find a lot of shit here. And the effect of that means we're just no longer bothered by ourselves so much. We're not troubled by the fact that we've got a mind that thinks and a body that contracts and emotions that, kind of come up in all kinds of unexpected ways, etc. And just have a sense of that. What would that be like, to have no fear of your body? Right? That also means no fear of its aging process, no fear when it gets ill, no fear of discomfort. Doesn't mean we like those things. Doesn't mean we like to be uncomfortable or sick. No, but like that feeling inside a bodily life, relaxed, essentially relaxed. No fear. No fear of your emotional life. So that even if, when anger arises, for example, we're interested in it, and we want to take care of it so that it doesn't sort of do any damage to ourselves or anyone else. But we're just unconcerned. Right? There's no second guessing, no judging oneself for being angry. No adding those layers. Anger's already hard to deal with, without adding on judgment about the anger. all kinds of ideas of what the anger means about me and the fact that I shouldn't. No, it's just like, oh, just being available. Oh, what is anger? Oh, I'm feeling angry. Oh, anger needs caring for. And then with our minds, like with our whole psychological reality, to be in harmony with one's psychology, unafraid of one's psychology. You know. However weird it is at times, whatever strange compulsions might arise, whatever perverse thoughts might be there, whatever ways in which we can feel our past kind of shaping the way we're thinking about the present. Unafraid of our own minds, uncontentious. Actually, that's a good way to express it. To be uncontentious with our own minds. So that these beautiful qualities, peace, ease, openness, clarity, right, care, they're not actually of the same order. They're not properties of self. Not my love, my spaciousness, my clarity. Those things, it's not like they don't belong to this body, this heart and mind, really. Rather, these sort of essential qualities of consciousness that can meet and hold and enter into and relax around the life of body and heart and mind. This is Buddha's recipe for a full and fluid and free life. This is the practice that we're cultivating together. So it's like this then, that we sit in meditation together. So wiggle your bum, get comfortable, settle into your posture. See how your posture can embody and express a few of these beautiful qualities. So, okay, steadiness. Feel your seat. Feel that density in your lower body. See, it's like that sense that your body can really trust the ground beneath it. Relax into the ground beneath it. The heaviness of a body sitting like a mountain. Steady awareness. And then feeling the length of your spine, upright, dignified. And it's in that uprightness that we might feel the quality, right, of clear, alert, awake. And then making sure your chest's a little open. Right? You might roll your shoulders back just a little bit. And then let your shoulders just soften and relax as if your shoulder blades are kind of sliding down your back. And that space that you feel in your chest, feeling of a kind of receptivity or undefendedness. Oh yeah, open. This is this quality, this attitude, openness, receptivity. And then also, very important in your posture, a sense of ease, quality and attitude of gentleness. And you can foster that just in relaxing, like relax your jaw and around your eyes. Let that feeling of relaxation just run down through your face, through your shoulders, through your arms and hands. Let it run down through your chest and belly. And then letting your attention kind of pool down in your lower belly, down in that deepest place where you can feel the movement of your breath. Gathering your attention here with these qualities that we've set up in the posture. Steady, clear, open, and gentle. And bringing this attitude to the movement of each breath. The flickering of each sensation. The passing of each sound and each thought. And each moment. Whatever's happening, whatever sensations, whatever the feeling of breath is like, whatever sounds or thoughts are passing through your experience. On the one hand, our practice is to be close to them, awake to them, receptive to them. On the other hand, whatever the content of your experience is, it's secondary. What's primary is cultivating a quality of being here, a presence which is steady, open, wakeful, spacious. These qualities of presence aren't brought about by an act of will Like we said earlier, they're not properties of the self. So don't try to make your attention steady. Try to make yourself open or gentle or whatever. Just relax into being here. Feeling for a quality of steadiness that's already here, that can maybe be felt despite the unsteady movements of your mind. A quality of openness that is innate. Open enough that whatever appears, whatever sensations and sounds and thoughts happen, they all just show up within this open space. A quality of receptivity, of allowing, of gentleness that's natural. That becomes obvious through relaxation. So you don't have to be steady and open and receptive. Rather, you can feel for those qualities as something natural, innate, always available. Never more than a mind moment away. steady. We find steadiness in this awareness that's always here, always available. That is both the heart and the background of every moment of experience. Openness. We find this quality in the natural, edgeless space of consciousness. The open space in which each sound and thought and sensation happens. Tenderness. We find this in relaxing around the mind content. And being uncontentious with our experience. And finding out that any moment, every moment, is embraced, is allowed, is loved. So the last few minutes then of the meditation, sitting together like this. May we all be relaxed in our bodies, at ease in our hearts, and uncontentious with our minds. And in this way, know the innately liberating qualities of our nature. All right. Oh, it's good to sit, isn't it? Might not always be pleasant, but it's definitely good. And as the Bhagavad Gita says in that lovely line, the good and the pleasant are not the same thing. Sometimes they are. It's a happy moment when the good and the pleasant do turn out to be the same thing. But when they're not, what do you choose? Do you choose the pleasant, the seemingly easy and comfortable and convenient? Or do we choose the good? That which conduces to something wholesome, to wisdom and love and ease and freedom, even though it may not be easy. All right, let's have a look. It's some time for questions. Please feel free, if you have questions, you can put them here in the chat or in the question box. I never know which is easier. For me, it's kind of easier that they're all in one place, like in the chat box. But I see there's a little blue button on the questions, so I'll have a look there. And before I get into questions, just the very brief daily reminder. Dana, all of this is freely offered. That's beautiful. The engine that runs Sangha Live is the engine of mutual support, mutual generosity, mutual appreciation. It's the engine of mutuality, caring for each other. So, we want to support you the best we can. That's why Sangha Live exists. That's why me and other teachers of the weeks kind of show up to offer practice and teachings and share together. And if you appreciate that, then please support us the best you can. And Sangha Live has no income other than your dana. Kind of amazing, really. It's amazing and it's precarious. And as I mentioned yesterday, dana has been sort of the participation is really great in Sangha Live activities. There's a couple of hundred people here this morning. It's great. But the dana offerings have been sort of slowly going down and down and down over the last many months, and which is unsustainable, right, for Sangha Live. So I'm mentioning that to see if it might inspire you. If your cup overfloweth, then please feel free to let it overfloweth in our direction. And George, we can put the dana link there. And that your support directly supports me as the teacher this week. It supports Sangha Live, supports your own sense of commitment to and appreciation for your practice. And it very directly then supports this being able to continue and supports anyone else who can come tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And, if we feel like these practices are beneficial for ourselves and we want to be beneficial, we want them to be beneficial for others, that's the way that happens. So thank you. Thank you for your support, whether you offer that today or any other day. Thank you. And in the moment, while you go through the process of clicking and inputting and everything, please connect with the fact that it's mutual. It's an act of love. It's an act of support. It's an act of generosity. Right? So you actually get to not just make a donation, but really feel the goodness of that offering. Let it nourish your heart. That's the ground of dana. Yeah. All right. Let's have a look. What's going on? What news from the front lines of consciousness this morning? Lisa says, I'm having surgery next year to rebuild my eardrum. Hard to be steady. And because aware of, when I come to meditation, I'm aware of the anxiety, and that increases it. Yes. Yeah. So don't attend to anxiety, Lisa. To attend to something, right, give attention, give space. The whole basis of attending to something is the sense that it's okay. Whatever this is, it's okay. It's okay. It's uncomfortable, but it's okay. I don't like it, but it's okay. But anxiety is the feeling that things are not okay. Things are not okay. So whereas with most difficult emotions, I would say, give it some space, give it some care and attention, right? Based on the fact that it's okay to feel sadness. Don't like it, but it's okay. It's okay to feel anger. Don't like it, but it's okay. Anxiety is not like that. It doesn't feel okay. So actually with anxiety, you want to take your attention somewhere else. And the anxiety is playing out here, right? Butterflies in your stomach, like you say, tightness in your chest. So take your attention to something else that is okay, so that you recover some sense and focus on that which is okay. Maybe it's your arms, maybe the feeling of your arms at rest. So your arms are okay. Or it's your feet, or it's just the outsides, like it's too intense in the middle, in the core here. Come just to the outside, the feel of the outside of your arms and the outside, the feel of your legs. Often there's a kind of coolness there at the edges. It's like, oh yeah. So attend to that which fosters and nourishes a sense of okayness. And then if you feel really okay, then you might come back to that. But you might not come back to it. You might spend the time just going to the okayness, and then you get caught again in an anxiety loop. Okay, come back. And if it's too uncomfortable to sit with that, walk up and down with it. Sometimes movement helps to discharge some of the anxious energy. So even if you're attending here with us, you just, you can have the computer on or whatever, and then just walk up and down, just even if it's a couple of meters, and let your walk be as much as possible kind of loose-limbed and easy, gentle. You really want to foster gentleness and relaxation and okayness as an antidote to anxiety. And you have to look for where those qualities are, right? Because you won't find them in here. You won't find them in the anxiety. All right. Hope that helps. Next week, surgery. Okay. Yeah. So here's wishing you safe passage, steady passage, gentle passage, caring passage through the surgery. Okay, let me look at the questions box there. Maria says, I've been meditating many years, and still when I bring my attention to body, I can still notice mind almost continually narrating my experience, and it's so difficult to quieten it down. Right. Yeah, so don't bother, Maria. Don't bother trying to quieten your mind. Too much work. I don't put any attention, I don't put any effort into trying to quieten my mind. What do you expect your mind to be doing? I would say you could be grateful that it's narrating your experience, rather than just going off to some other old rubbish somewhere else, some land of abstraction. So, right, here's the bodily sensation. Here's the narration. Right. So far, so normal, so natural. Your job isn't to quieten your mind down, and as if you should just be in some pure realm of sensation with nothing else happening. But what you can do is keep choosing where to place your attention. So you can keep choosing to feel into the actual felt sense of breath. The fact that your mind is then describing, oh, this is an in-breath, this is an out-breath, just don't bother about it. Don't bother. You don't need to stop it. You just can stop bothering it. Stop bothering about your mind and stop bothering your mind. Don't bother your mind, because it's like, oh, you shouldn't be thinking so much. Well, what's that? That's just more thinking, right? So bothering about your mind thinking just produces more thought. So just sense Sense into your breath, and there's all the blah blah. It's kind of a drag because we think, oh, it would be nice if it was quieter and more peaceful. Yeah, it would. It would be nice if the whole world was more peaceful, but it's the way it is. So it's like, just don't bother your mind. And I wonder if that phrase might be a helpful one for you, to not bother your mind. Yeah. Hannah says, if we encourage a sense of being with and allowing anger, upset, etc., how do we recognize when these emotions are in response to exploitation and oppression and require? I think, well, it's quite obvious, I would say. You know what you're angry about, right? When you're angry, you know whether you're angry. And I think a little bit of honesty, sort of self-honesty, the honesty born of a self-reflective practice, allows us to see what is driving the anger. And so sometimes it's just me. I'm getting upset, and it's really about a small thing, right? It's just someone's done something, and I recognize my anger is out of proportion, and it's really not about the situation. The situation has just been a catalyst for some sort of frustration or impotence or undigested rage, and it's been building up because I haven't been caring for it, and now it explodes in some small thing. Right, that's the first example. And the second example is, no, and this is a more tricky one, I know that I'm right to be angry. We love a bit of self-righteousness, It's like, and this time I know I'm right, and this person really is wrong, or this political situation really is terrible, etc. And that's where we need to be more discerning, because yes, maybe the person is doing something that requires us to stand up to them, say something, do something. Maybe the situation is one where we realize, I feel, called to act here. Great. The tricky thing is then to find the response, right, which may be a strong response, an active response, a dynamic response, an interventionist response. But if that response is driven along by my unrecognized and undigested anger, then it will have, that's what we're bringing to the situation. We're bringing our own undigested reactive emotions to a situation that, let's face it, if people are acting unskillfully, they're doing so out of their own undigested, afflictive emotions. So it doesn't mean you need to be perfectly equanimous before you act. Oh my God, if we waited for that, none of us would ever do anything. Right? But I would say it does mean, that we're careful in what we say, careful with the first impulse. Is the first impulse a wise impulse or a reactive one? And it's a reactive one, well, maybe take just 3 breaths before to consider. And I know we're speaking somewhat theoretically, right? Because, I don't know what particular situation you have in mind, whether it's just a personal one or whether it's more of a kind of political or global or ecological one. There's plenty of things to feel angry about in the world. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't feel angry about them. Yeah, the anger can be a real engine. But if the anger is unrecognized and undigested, then it's an engine that brings aggression and blame and distortion to it. Whereas if the anger is recognized, actually anger can galvanize and purify into clarity and purpose and strength and determination and fearlessness. Excellent. Right? And that's the difference, right? And I reckon, if you sense, you can feel that difference, the difference between an anger that's unresolved in one's own heart, right, that carries aggression, blame, kind of has a sort of poisonous feeling, the feeling of wanting to lash out. Right? And it's like, oh, even though I know I'm right, and even though they're doing something that's terrible, my feeling of wanting to lash out is partly motivated by, I can't tolerate this feeling. And so I want to make you responsible for it. I want to lash out at you. And then when I've done that, I'll feel better. Whoa. And then that's like Gandhi saying, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. if I see people acting unskillfully and I pile in like some great avenging angel and act unskillfully myself, you know. And then that other feeling of an anger that I recognize and I take responsibility for and I'm kind of caring for in my own heart. But I still see the injustice there. And if I'm in the situation and have the skill set and the opportunity to respond, then that response can be, actually many times more potentized as a response. You might think of the times where either in your own life or seeing something play out politically or whatever, when you see somebody actually act in that way that's kind of fearless and clear, and where it's not being infected by their own unresolved emotion, then it's often very, very potent. Those are the characters that are often most impressive, right? One thinks of Nelson Mandela, for example, and that capacity, having been jailed by the apartheid regime, etc., that capacity to be able to act and speak and not hold his jailers with that kind of poisonous, unresolved emotion. Voila. All right, friends, how are we doing? Yeah, top of the hour. Thank you for your questions. It's good to just reflect a little together, and I very much appreciate you showing up here and us sitting together and you expressing your kind little messages of support to one another. Very good. So, hey, let's do it all again tomorrow. Please go gently through the day. And whatever the content of body and mind, maybe we can just keep feeling for the qualities of practice that can hold and care for them, so that our own stuff needn't be the main feature of our day. All right. Thank you. See you tomorrow.